This is a tutorial on how to use the software DETO for topology optimization in 2D. When you download the DETO tutorial, you will get a zip folder, and if you unzip the content, you will be presented with these two folders and two PDF documents. The two PDFs are two manuscripts where you can find some useful theory, and I strongly recommend you to read them because they explain how the code works and what the code does. The other two folders are related to running the code. The first one, DETO2D, contains these two files. One is a CPP file that you can open with any text editor, and this is the source code. It's contained entirely in one single text file. And then there's the make file, which is a file that is a support file that allows you to run a program that converts this text file into an executable file written in C. You have these two folders here, objects. This is just a support folder that will be used during the process of generating the executable file, process that is called the compilation. And then there is the run folder, which is where the executable will be created. The first step in using the code, then the example folder instead contains an input file that we will look at later in detail, that contains all the information that you need to pass to the code as an input to run an example. So starting with the compilation, I'm assuming that you either use Unix or Macintosh, or that if you use Windows, you can Google how to do that in Windows. So the instructions are only for Unix-based operating systems like Linux or Macintosh. So if you are on a Macintosh or if you are on Linux, you can search using Spotlight for the terminal app, and if you run the terminal app, you will open a dialog box like this. The equivalent on Windows of this is the DOS or MS-DOS. From there you can run similar things as I'm doing here on the terminal. So I encourage you, because since also to run the code you will need to use the terminal in a Unix operative system, in a Windows operative system you will have to use the DOS. So I will leave you as a homework to find out how to compile and run a code written in C++ in Windows. And if you're using a Unix-based system, then simply you have to navigate to the folder where your code is. So in this case you see that the folder here is iCloud Drive, Documents, Teaching, so it's a quite complicated one. An easier way is to right click on these and then New Terminal at Folder. So it opens the terminal directly in the folder. If it's not, you navigate to the folder using the cd etc command. So cd++ goes back, cd DETO2D goes into the folder, ls reads the content of the folder. In Windows it would be dir, the command to do the same thing. So this is the content of this folder. Compiling the code is very simple. Once you are in the folder in the terminal, so here you press make, enter, and this is running the program make on the file make file, which is compiling the main.cpp to generate an object in the objects folder called main.o. You don't need to care about it, but importantly in the run folder you have DETO2D. So if the compilation is successful, you will have a DETO2D. This is the executable file that you can run to run the code. What you need to do is to copy this executable and paste it into the folder where you want to run it. In our case would be the example folder. So now, after compilation, you should end up with the executable in the same example folder as your input file. Now you will be ready to run the code.